I'm not going to pause yours until we have problems, though.
Okay.
Because that way you won't have to wait. Why did I do all of that after we started, Ashley? I literally...
I like waited to cough, too. I'm like, excuse me.
Let's get it all out. Hi, it's Joel and Ashley from the Articulate Coven. We are the Articulate Coven. And we're here to talk about the Interview with the Vampire SDCC 2024 panel. Little bonus episode for you.
Yes, a little treat, a little trick-or-treat as we're getting into spooky season.
I will say, Ashley, I ponder at AMC's timing on the delivery of this. They said it was going to be in September. I don't think this is I think this is the date that they gave. But why? Why not release this immediately?
Yeah, maybe I don't know. It doesn't make it. I was gonna be like, well, maybe like they're trying to like keep interest rolling, but like, why didn't even if they had just waited until like the Netflix thing happened, like it's such weird timing. Like we're already a month into that.
Yeah, we're a month into it, so it's like, yes, a lot of people binge shows, and probably a lot of people have already finished the first season. But
yes.
I don't know. It's just strange timing. So here, let me give you a little poop sandwich of advice here, AMC. They tell you to do 2 compliments and a negative. Well, we're going to give you 2 negatives and a positive. How about that?
Yeah.
So your first negative is
sandwich.
Weird timing. Weird timing on this release.
Weird timing.
But I will say, though, we asked for more. We asked for bonus features. We asked for extras. And these are 2, one for Interview with the Vampire, one for Mayfair Witches. We didn't get a Talamasca panel at SDCC this year, but that makes sense. They didn't really have anything to tell us.
They don't know what the hell they're doing yet.
They just cast their lead. But we got both these panels, full 30-minute panel.
Right.
Some decent info from both of them. We're going to have a separate segment. You can go and listen to our discussion of Mayfair or not, if that's not your bag,
If that's
baby.
not your jam, it's okay.
Right. But I want to give
their
you a
own.
little spoiler. Ashley, I might have enjoyed the Mayfair panel more than the interview panel.
Oh wow, that's definitely not my case. But I did enjoy it. It was a good watch. It was nice. We'll get to it. But yeah, not
all right,
more.
let's talk
Sam
about
was there. How
interview.
Can you enjoy it more, God.
But they confused my poor baby Sam and made fun of him, and it kind of bugged me.
They did. They did make fun of him. Oh, he didn't understand that artwork was a fake.
The energy from the crowd was great for interviews panel. Like,
It really
clear.
was.
It was a room full of people like us that are very, very excited to see these folks up close, but also to say thank you genuinely. And I was so glad the panelist, the MC did that at the top. He's like, do we just want to do it now? Let's everybody say thank you. And the crowd went wild. Because like genuinely, this show, and I know I'm not, and you feel the same way, but I know we're not alone in this. Right. This show has like done a thing that we dreamed of, but really thought would never happen.
Yeah, 100%. It's better than we had any business to hope for, and it's certainly better than I was expecting.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm really, and again, it says, we've talked about this too. Like, I hope that they're able to keep the energy that they have on set and keep it a really healthy, happy place to work, which it really seems like it is. Everybody seemed to be having a good time and talking about like their contributions. Everybody was really proud of their work and excited to talk about what everybody else brought to the table too. I think that's fantastic. To have that camaraderie in an environment that can be very stressful and very backbiting. Like Hollywood's not the nicest place to work as far as like NICE people.
I'll admit I didn't know Roland Jones going into this show.
Oh, I didn't either.
I was not aware of how we're going to be talking about in our upcoming episode of the podcast, the main episode. We're going to talk about Midnight Mass, the first episode of that series from Netflix. And Mike Flanagan does have this repertory style where he brings in the same players. His design crew is a lot of the same. I found out, for instance, his orchestration, the soundtrack is the same for every one of his productions.
Literally every one.
When you find your crew, like, keep riding with them, and that is like an old school Hollywood thing for sure.
I love it. And to not be forced by contract. For it not to be forced by contract. For it to be like a choice that you make, and
it's obvious you have to keep some doors open, right, for new faces and new voices. But when you find someone who you vibe with, Hollywood is a small world, and so many people are callous and doing it for the wrong reasons, or just no fun to work with.
Right, just not fun to work with. Just kind of like so stressy and not cool, you know? Like, we all probably work with someone like that. You might be that person.
Hey, look, man.
If you don't know the person, you might be the person.
I saw the best meme the other day from Justified, which I haven't started watching. But it's a quote from the main character. My mom tells me all the time that I would love it. I probably would. I like the guy from Deadwood. But anyway, the main character, the Timothy Oliphant, says, if you wake up in the morning and run into an asshole, you ran into an asshole. If you run into assholes all day, the asshole is you.
Yeah. 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 Nobody wants to find out that they're the asshole last minute, you know? It's a surprise.
Okay, I want to acknowledge Mark Johnson. Okay, first of all, producing is a hard job, and in a lot of ways, I feel like it's a thankless job, right?
Yeah.
You get a lot of the crap thrown in your direction, and you don't get a lot of the credit. It's the auteur director, or it's this brilliant performer.
Money, you know, like
you do make the money. That's right,
and make the money. So
it's not thankless.
I'm like, it's not. You know, you are being rewarded for your efforts. Yeah.
But he got asked the question early, like right at the top, about architecting Anne Rice's universe.
Yeah.
And, you know, how did it feel, you know, being able to get this ball rolling in such a successful way? Like Mayfair, whatever you might think about the content, was a success ratings-wise.
Yeah, absolutely.
Clearly they're coming back. It was number 4 or 5 on... No, I don't think it got that high. But it was in the top 10 on Netflix.
Well, and I have friends that have never, ever touched an Anne Rice book that love Mayfair, that are like, woohoo, this is really fun, and like will message me about it and check in with me about during the season, you know. So I mean, I know people like it. I know they do.
So it's a success in its own right, and then obviously Interview has been now awarded, but also like critically acclaimed. It basically like 98 on Rotten Tomatoes, the first season.
For both seasons, he said. Shit.
Oh, that's right. So how does that feel, basically? And I love Mark's answer. He immediately, and it goes back to what you said earlier, like what a team atmosphere this is. He says, I'm just at the mercy of talent like this. And he was praising Sharlien, but the way that he phrased it, and he didn't say exactly the same line later when he's sitting next to Miss Spaulding, I did feel like it was a little bit throwing her under the bus. I'm at the mercy of my talent.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's good or bad, I'm at the mercy of my talent.
I am stuck with them. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so Sharlien said, or the question to Sharlien was deciding what to keep, what to lose, what to do later. I really enjoyed that. The overall feeling, though, of this whole thing, it felt to me like, and this is one reason I think I enjoyed the Mayfair panel more, this whole group is at a weird place. They haven't shot a word of season 3. To hear Sharlien say it, they haven't even written it.
Right.
And meanwhile, season 2 is over, like, not exactly in the immediate rear view. Not only have we seen it all, but, like, we've talked about it. We've heard them talk about it even.
Yeah. Well, and you've got a person on your panel that's not even going to be a primary cast member next season, you know? Which is weird.
Yeah, probably not. It's
very strange. I don't
strange.
mind it. I want to have her there to talk about her experience. I want to have her there to talk about Claudia. I'm not saying that that's bad. I'm just saying that's another thing about this panel that just was a little odd. And, you know, like, I mean, we hope she's going to be back at least in some form, but she probably won't be back as like a main cast member next year.
I mean, you can't imagine how she would be a main cast member at the minimum. Like, even if they do a real, like, a haunting story or something. Like, anyway, it's a strange situation. Meanwhile, Mayfair, they've not only finished filming season 2, but they've all, like, seen it, it seems like, and we don't know anything about it, basically. So they had a lot of juicy tidbits, so to speak.
And also, I haven't read Lasher in so long, too. I had, like, forgotten about all the sciencey shit in it. Like, that is not something that stuck in my brain about it. So now I'm like, well, fuck, I do have to read Lasher before this season comes out. I'm looking forward to talking about that, too. Oh, okay, I like this transition. Speaking of a piece of art, Mr. Sam Reed, everybody. Yes. Oh. Yes, what a treasure. He's so handsome. He did seem a little like shy and quiet during the panel. I was kind of surprised.
Okay. I think he doesn't have his emotional support Jacob Anderson with him. That's his problem.
That was the other thing that was weird. It's weird Jacob's not there. Like, I was like...
I mean, and he, at this time, when SDCC was going on, Jacob was in Europe for a Raleigh Ritchie, which is his musical alter ego. He was on a musical tour. He's literally performing...
He was doing his Chris Gaines.
Yeah, I mean, for real. It's so funny, too, because I thought about that the other day, actually, because, Childish Gambino, who is Donald Glover. He's hanging it up. He's hanging up the Childish Gambino persona or whatever. And that made me think about Raleigh Ritchie and Jacob Anderson. And I was like, man, we made so much fun of Garth Brooks about this, but like other people do it too. There's quite a lot of these, actually.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, that was absurd.
I guess they don't change their hairstyle and stuff.
It was the black hair dye. It was the Christ.
For me, it was the bangs covering the right eye. That was the one. I wanted those so badly.
Oh, no, Joel. No.
Okay. We have talked in all of our San Diego Comic-Con panel discussion, like all the individual groups that did when we've reacted to those videos. So few, or basically none, of the questioners have talked to Delaney about her excellent performance in season 2. And they didn't really quite exactly go there, but they sort of did, and they let her talk about it a little bit, specifically that final look at Lestat.
Yeah.
I thought she had some really interesting things to say about that.
Yeah, I did too, and to feel the fact that she felt conflicted about, like, the direction, she was given as an actor. Like, I don't know that I would go to him for comfort. But then, like, working through it and doing it so many different ways and so many different times, really realizing, like, at the crux of it, there's, like, she's in so much physical pain, she's in agony and wants help. It's just so fucking sad. It's so sad, you guys.
Really is. But see, a perfect example of what you couldn't have gotten if you kept that character 5 or 10 or 12 or whatever they did it just right.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think you're ever going to find that I'm going to disagree with Agent Claudia.
Okay. Let's talk about Assad Zaman, the lovely Armand, dressed as Urkel, but still looking as smooth as Urkel. How does he pull that off?
He is precious. He's
the suspenders and the little glasses and the whole 9 yards, and he's still like smoldering in them. I don't understand it.
And he's so fucking charming. Like, what is he even
really
doing on stage? Like, he is just charming the pants off of everybody. I love it. I could listen to him talk about doing this show for days, He's
right?
just, like... and I mean, I didn't even think I was going to get that attached to him, It's like the whole Santino of it. Santiago of it.
Okay, he had done interesting things in season 1.
Yeah.
And we had said, okay, this character is obviously something, and we had speculated even if it was Armand.
Right.
And then the big reveal happened, and you and I were both like, well, he's a great actor, and he's been very enjoyable, but I can't see how they're going to make Armand interesting to us in this series, knowing what we know he's going to do.
Yeah.
And they did it.
They did.
And worse, they added this thing that he lied for 70 years to all our main characters, and we're still like, where is he going to be in season 3?
Yep. Yeah. Where's his pretty brown eyes? Where's he going to be? What do we have next for him? Yep. Yeah. I mean, the other thing is you're also going into this, they can speculate and talk a little bit about season 3, but it's mostly a reflection on season 2,
Yes.
And then just kind of a general chat about, like, what it's like to work together, how artistic process for some of the, like, tech folks that were there, which was really fun. I love listening to Daniel talk about the music and, like, his inspiration and, like, what, his process and how he works. That was really great to hear. I'm always very interested in composers, and you and I being, you and I are such music geeks, like, of course we pay attention to that. Of course that's something that matters to us as viewers.
When you and I were in college, first of all, we were gifted in many ways when we were in college. It was literally like a golden moment in that theater program because you had a bunch of great faculty. But
God bless.
In particular, we had Michael Raspberry, who was this still like very he was really just starting out as a composer in a lot of ways.
Fantastic.
And yet he was a great, like, fourth teacher in that department too. Mm-hmm. But what that meant was any show we could just break out an original composition
Yeah.
for, you know? So
Yeah.
the one I
looked at it.
remember in particular was they did Sestrazzi, which is like this
That was after
over
I
the
left.
top, yes, over the top dark melodrama. But it was the first time that I had been like explained why soap operas feel like they do. They're like, have you ever noticed there's music under every moment in a soap opera? And I'm like, no, is there really? But yes, there is. And so he did that in the play. And to literally have, and they talked about it in this panel, to have your emotions like just toyed with like that by a musical cue. Man, they just hit it out of the park with the show in a way that I don't think anything else on TV is doing right now. Honestly.
No, well, I mean, I think that there's a lot of really great composers working in television right now. I mean, without a doubt. But it's just the guys and gals that really can like connect to it emotionally and really pull out how and like you said, tease how they want you to feel, you know, and then can manipulate you and can fuck with you the same way that our actors can, you know, the same way that the writers writing the dialogue can, and it's such being an active participant in the storytelling process as opposed to just being like literally background music, you know.
Well, and it's interesting to hear like where in the process he's involved. And so, like Daniel's writing music before the script is written. You know, he's writing music from the outline and then is rewriting it to the script, and then his music is informing the script in places. And anyway,
and it definitely
very cool.
Yeah, you know, like I wonder if the actors get any sort of teases about what the music might sound like, if they get like a little hint of that, because I do think that it would definitely help drive and inform your performance if you did, you know, if you were like, if I got to listen to that fucking music and act while I was listening to it, Lord.
Okay.
You know, like
so,
feed that to right here.
And that, again, going back to that Sestrazzi example, you could 100% see it in the performers once they added, and they added the music in that case way before they did the rest of the technical elements. But when they did, it was like you've talked about in the past of putting on the costume, and all of a sudden you go from I'm pretending to now I am, you know. Yeah, it's a moment, man. I'll say this: the way that they listed the musical inspirations for Lestat this time, when I listened to, we heard that list from, so that's one reason why, by the way, I think the Mayfair panel was more interesting to me than the interview panel. I'd seen a lot of the most interesting snippets on social media, right? But we'd seen this on social media, the list of the musical inspirations. But for some reason, hearing it this time, the way they rattled it off, and then thinking about the way in that same moment they also dropped the Lestat Rockstar teaser, including the first parts of the first song, I thought to myself, what if they've written a lot of this album already, actually, and they're literally building? What if that is where they start?
They're building everything else around it.
If it's a musical, I mean, think about that. Like, you almost have to do that on a Broadway show. The book can come very late in the process in a lot of cases.
For sure,
right?
for sure, yeah.
So, I don't know, man. It just occurred to me that they may be further along in that process. And like Sam in particular may be very steeped in the music at this point.
Yeah, I think that for sure they're further along in that process than we thought. Just because, like, why would you not be working on it? You've got the fucking time right now. Like, what else you working on, buddy? You know, like, I'm sure he's doing other shit, but like, let's, you know, like, make good use of the time you got. You got downtime from the actual production, then fucking do your writing now.
It may be. So, is he still doing the newsreader, or is that over? Is that an?
I don't know.
I think it's ongoing. I think he may still be. I think he may be going and shooting that, and then coming and shooting interview. I will say, like, he's got short hair in the newsreader. I mean, I know wigs are a thing, but he's got such long hair right now. I don't know. Okay. Anyway, one more thing in particular that I wanted to note, though, was the discussion of between Assad and Delaney about Claudia and Armand and how they found each other in common and how they liked or didn't like each other. I thought there was some really interesting parts there, but in particular, Delaney calling out the fact that, like, she and Assad are both, you know, child vampires. You know, Claudia and Armand are both child vampires, and yet he has like no connection or empathy for her because of that in any way.
No.
Like, just blind
Yeah, he's like,
to
oh
that.
no, life's hard. It's just not sympathetic at all.
Delaney says, I'm the leader of his hate page.
Yes, I love that. I died. That was so funny. The anti-fan club.
But Assad had an interesting point. He said, first of all, yes, Armand very much respects Claudia. And she gave him a look. He's like, people respect people in different ways.
He's so full of shit.
But then he also points out, Claudia is Lestat's fledgling.
Yeah.
And very like Lestat in so many ways, which they both have acknowledged now, right? So, like, he was never gonna like her.
No, I mean, yeah, that fact alone. Never mind the fact that she distracts Louis. You know, like,
yes,
it is the fact that she is of Lestat. Like, that is not. That leaves a bad taste in his mouth, literally.
Okay, I said at the beginning that I was going to give him a shit sandwich of advice, 2 negatives and a positive.
Yes.
I gave the negative and a positive. Here's my next negative. Why would you edit in ad breaks to this AMC on your paywalled streaming service? I understand I think you have an ad-free version. They didn't play commercials because you and I both have the ad-free version.
Right.
But didn't you get a fade to black a couple of times?
Oh, I thought that was just because they weren't showing the clips.
So they did that, but they also do it in between questions 2 or 3 times across these
man.
2. I think they do it once in Interview or twice in Interview and once in Mayfair. I can't remember now how many times.
No,
but it's
now that
not
you
just
that.
It's not just putting it on the screen. They also I'm pretty sure if you've got the ad version of AMC Plus, you saw ads in this. And I just think
that's fucking stupid.
It's bad form, man. This is an ad. I don't know what to tell you. Like, this is promotional content for your universe. Like, don't run an ad for dishwater, dish soap or whatever in the middle of it. Like, let's don't do that. And then the other thing that I was a little disappointed by, they played the teaser in the room, but no questions after the teaser.
About the teaser, right.
Yeah, like, man, come on, give them 2 or 3. They're not going to answer anything anyway, but like, let somebody ask something.
Right. Well, and I get that, and I also get, time limitations. They only had a half hour. But I would have loved
Sure.
I would have loved some audience questions. Some questions from people in the room. I would have loved that very much.
All right.
Just because you get a better vibe, you get a better idea of the whole vibe of the whole thing when there's an exchange with the fans, I think. And I do think that also they perk up a lot when they're talking to the fans.
Yes. This group in particular.
Even if it feels like they're doing it, even if they're doing it because they have to or they feel like they have to, they're still putting that effort in, Oh, so I did like the moderator a lot. He was great.
He was great. And apparently he was also there to introduce them in 2022 or whatever, when they first rolled out before season 1. He did the panel at San Diego Comic-Con for them then. We mentioned it earlier. Sam got confused about the painting. So there's the scene shot in the museum where Armand tells the story of his, kidnapping and his raising by Marius and how he was pimped out and all of that terrible stuff. The story of Arun, as he says. That the painting that they're in front of hangs in the Louvre in Paris,
in the same room as the Mona Lisa, apparently.
Yeah, which the room that they shot in is not the room that the Mona Lisa is in, but that was supposed to be the Louvre that they had gone to. That was the point, was that they were in Paris and they had gone to the museum. Anyway, Sam was very confused because he thought they were standing in front of the real painting.
Right.
And yet the real painting is hanging in the Louvre. And why they flew the painting
I wasn't there. We weren't at the Louvre. We weren't at the Louvre.
No, Sam, we made a fake painting.
Sam,
that was not it's not a real
It's film and television magic, Sam.
It was a copy, Sam. The team of artists that we have that build all of our shit, they made a painting, Sam. It's fine.
Sam, don't be so pretty that you're stupid. We don't need that. Bless.
Anyway, in case you didn't get to see the panel, his befuddlement was adorable. Yes.
Yeah, they continue to talk about it like
it came up like 3 times, and then finally he goes, "Oh, I got it.
Oh yeah. Bless his heart.
Anyway,
bless his Australian heart.
All right. Thank you for checking out this little bonus. Don't forget, if you're interested, to go check out our discussion of the Mayfair San Diego Comic-Con panel that's coming up as well, right here in the same feed.
It's going
where
to be nicer
you're
than we usually are about Mayfair. So
I have a lot of nice things to say. I do. Yeah, I'm excited. All right. Anyway, that's coming up next. And of course, if you're interested in the Immortal universe, you should subscribe to our podcast or our YouTube channel or whichever version of this that you want to. Check it out at articulatecoven.com.